Hello everyone, hope you all watched my last videos for fundamentals of computer systems. Today I am going to teach you the last lesson for second term. So welcome to the last lesson in second term database. So after studying this lesson you will be able to understand these things as I given in the presentation. So first one is you are going to learn what is a database. And next one is what is a DBMS. So I hope to discuss with you all what are the advantages of DBMS and what are the disadvantages of DBMS and the difference between manual databases and electronic databases. So moreover that I would like to discuss for you all database models. So next topic is relational database model. So under relational database models, we are going to learn what are the model terms and what are the database relational rules we have to use. And another topic we have to discuss what are the keys in database. So after doing all these topics, I would like to move to the next topic, features of a database. The next one is data duplication. And we are going to explain some of data types in database. And my last topic will be cardinality or multiplicity. So first of all, I would like to move to the first topic. What is a database? So let's see what is a database. This is a data structure that stores organized information. It is a collection of information that is organized so that it can be easily accessed, managed and updated. So let's discuss few examples. The first one, as I given in the slide, you can see school database. So in a school database, we can store student personal data and subject marks. Again, in an employee database, we can store employee personal data or salary data. So other than that, an online telephone directory would definitely use a database to store data such as people name, phone numbers and other contact details. So those are the examples for database. So now let's see what is the database management system. Database management system is a collection of programs which enables its user to access database, manipulate data, reporting or representation of data. So another one is the software system that enables users to define, create and maintain data inside a database. So I have given some examples for these database management systems. Oracle, Access, SQL Server, MySQL, DB2. So those are the examples for database management systems. Next one is, let's see how the database management system is work. Then within more applications, we can use the same database management system. So DBMS manages data resources like an operating system. Then again, database contains centralized shared data also we can store inside a database. So simply we can say DBMS is an interface between the application and the data. So now let's see what about the user interaction with database. So the user can add new files to the database. So if they have existing data files, if they want, they can modify, delete or insert data to the existing file. So some of the file we can delete and some of the files we can retrieve when the user needs. Right. So now let's see what is a database systems. So these are the examples for systems whichever they are using some database management systems. first one is computerized database system. So nowadays all the people, they are using computerized database systems. Automated teller machines, that is the ATM machine. Again, flight reservation system. Online flight reservation systems we have. Computerized parts inventory system. So that means inventory control systems in a company. So those are the systems which we can use databases. So now let's see what are the advantages of this database. Minimal data redundancy. So now data redundancy is something like data duplication. Consistency of data, that means the data is accurate. Sharing of data, you can share data with multiple users. Then data independence, improve data integrity, security, concurrency, and we can take backups as well. And they are providing recovery services. So those are the advantages of using a database. So now let's see what are the disadvantages of database. The first one is complexity and the size. Because we have to store lots of data. We have to store mountains of data. And the next one is cost of DBMS is high. Database management system is it's a software. So each and every computer, when they are using a database management system, there's a cost for these softwares. Then performance problems. We have some performance problems, and sometimes we are having a higher impact of failure. So I would like to say, please refer page number 252 to 255 in your grade 10 ICT book, because that all pages, they are giving more advantages and disadvantages than the theory what I gave. So now let's see what is an electronic database. So electronic database is any collection of data or information. So those are specially organized for rapid search and retrieval by a computer. That means at any time you can retrieve data from the database. It is very easy. An electronic database is one that is computerized and can be accessed, manipulated and modified, delete by using a computer application. So these databases can store very large amount of data, and we can easily share and format, arrange, present information with others. So those are the most important things in these electronic databases. Now let's see what is this manual database. Manual databases are the same as electronic database, but it's not a computerized system. Then it's a filing system that consists of many records, but all the records we are storing inside papers. Lots of paperwork is there. A manual database system, this is not available in electronic formats. So I would like to give some examples. The first example is telephone directory. So some printed address books are there. So those are the examples for manual databases. So this is one example for a manual database. So what the picture is saying, patient registration. So that person is telling we need to streamline our patient registration. I want you to fill out these additional forms along with the existing ones and then enter all information manually into the patient database. So here they are mentioning that manually, that means manually they have to maintain all the documents, and that person needs to get printouts, but all the printouts are multiple copies. So when we are working with a manual database, it is very difficult to manage data. The paperwork is high. And the next disadvantage is the security. So we can't provide security same as electronic databases. So now let's see what are the data models we can use in a database. These data models define how the logical structure of the database is modeled. So then I have mentioned three things. The database models define how data is connected to each other. And the next one is how data is processed and how data is stored in the system. So that model will describe the logical structure of your database. Now let's see what are the database models we have. So there are two generations we have to consider, first generation and the second generation. So under first generation, we have two database models. The first one is hierarchical database model. The next one is network database model. And under second generation, we can have relational database model. So I would like to discuss with you all relational database model. So now let's see what is a relational database model. So I have given how the database family got evolved with the time. So under second generation, we have the relational database model, and that model was proposed by E.F. Codd in 1970. The thing is, in this database model, the database management system defines database relationships in the form of tables, also known as relations. Relational database models usually have predefined data types that they can support. This is the most popular database management system in the market. So examples of relational database management systems include MySQL, Oracle, Microsoft SQL Server databases. So then we can say simply a collection of related tables is called as a relational database. So now let's move to the next topic. What are the relational models terms? The first one is tuple. So tuple, the word will indicate the table row. We can represent a table column by giving the name attribute. Then some set of valid values of a column, we can name it as attribute domain. Then the number of columns in a table, we can say it's a degree of relation. The number of rows of a table, we can say it's the cardinality of a table. So now let's see what are the rules in this relational database model. So as I told you, the relational database model usually have predefined data types that they can support. So before learning that one, we have to learn some rules how we can build up the relational database model. The first one is relation in a database must have unique name. That means in the relational database we have to put a unique name. Next one is value of a cell should be atomic or single value. That means within one cell we can write only one single value. Then next one is each tuple must unique. That means no two identical rows. The same row, the same record we can't repeat again and again. Each attribute of a table must have unique name. The table name should be a unique name. The last rule is order of columns or rows insignificant. That means there's no any order for columns, there's no any order for rows. Right, so now let's see what are the keys in database. So I would like to discuss with you all primary key, candidate key, foreign key, alternate key and the composite key. So these are the keys mainly we are using in database. So I would like to explain the first one, primary key. Primary key is an attribute that uniquely identify each tuple in a relation. So here it's a unique key. So I have given two examples, national identity card number, school admission number. So we cannot have the national ID card number, the same identity card number for two people. The same school admission number to two students. So the next one is candidate key. In a relation, attribute that can be chosen as a key. That means that key also we can consider as a primary key. So if you have two primary keys, two unique keys in your table, so both we can say it's a candidate key. Next one is alternate key. Alternate key, candidate key that wasn't chosen as a relational key. That means when we are selecting a primary key, we have to ignore one candidate key. So that ignore whatever the candidate key we are going to ignore, that key we can say it as the alternate key. The next one is composite key. Composite key is consisting of more than one attribute. So for example, we can take the name. Name we can divide into two, first name and last name. That means it will consist of more than one attribute. So this is one example for all these keys. Primary key, student ID, because no one can have the same ID. Then roll number also we can say it's a candidate key. Student ID, roll number and email address. For two students, they cannot have the same email address. So student ID, roll number, email, those columns are unique. Then by considering these three candidate keys, we have to select the most suitable unique key. So that key we are naming it as the primary key of that table. Then other two columns, other two candidate keys, we have to name it as alternate key. So this is how we can separate keys in a table. Now let's see what about the foreign key. Keys are the columns of a table that points to the primary key of another table. So this foreign key helps you to connect the tables in the database. So sometimes we call it as the referencing key. So if the has a primary key defined on any field that you cannot have two records having the same value of the field. So now let's see what are the examples we can use. So I have given one example. So I have added two tables, student table and the course table. So in the student table, I have mentioned the student ID as the primary key. The next one you can see in course table, course ID is the primary key. But when I am passing this course ID to the student table, so it comes under foreign key. So all these numbers under course ID we can use in the student table also. That means if you are using the course ID as a foreign key in this student table, that means already we have developed a relationship between these two tables. So this is my example for foreign key. Now let's see what are the features of a database. Then first one is minimal data redundancy. If the same data is stored in several tables, this is called as redundancy. Data consistency is the next feature. The same data being saved in various tables that can be reduced or prevented. So increase efficiency, increase accuracy. The next one is increase validity. So we are entering only the valid data. Security. So we can prevent unauthorized access by controlling the database using some password or encryption. So now let's see what is this data duplication. So as I discussed with you previously, so you can meet that word data duplication. So data duplication is a process of creation of exact data as a copy but in a different medium. So this provides benefits such as providing us with the ability to backup copies of files and create multiple versions of a file. Database duplication is often intentional and used primarily for creating backups. So that is the most important thing is in this data duplication. So as I given in this table, you can see there is a duplicate data record. So student number 100. So the same record we can see inside the same table, but it twice. So that is data duplication. So next one I would like to discuss with you all, what is data encryption. So data encryption also we can use in this database management systems. Data encryption is a security method where information can be protected. This method can be used to determine malicious parties from accessing our sensitive data. It can be applied to all kinds of data protection needs ranging from public sector to private sector. Then both are using this data protection method. Data encryption software, also known as a encryption algorithm or cipher. So here I have used that word ciphertext. Then next one is unencrypted data is called as the plain text. So you can convert this plain text into a ciphertext by encrypting. Again, the ciphertext you can convert into the plain text by decrypting. Decrypt is the opposite process in encryption. Then the purpose of data encryption is to protect digital data confidentiality as it is stored on the computer system and transmitted using the internet or other computer networks. So this is about the data encryption. So now let's see what are the data types we can use when we are creating tables or maybe databases. A type of data related to one field is called as a data type. Then different data types we have to use when we are creating tables. So first data type is numeric. So these data types we can use for calculation. So under numeric data type we can discuss two data types, integer and real. Integer numbers, that means plus or minus whole numbers. Real means plus or minus numbers with decimal places. So if you want to save a numeric value for any calculation or maybe in a record, so you can use these two data types, integer and real. Then next data type is text. So this will provide letters, numbers and special characters. So as I given you example, national identity card. So it has numbers and a letter also. So that comes under text. Then next data type is currency. So that one we can use to indicate monetary values like $12.45, then 35 rupees. Then if you are going to store these kind of data inside the table, you can use the data type currency. Then date and time will indicate the date and the time. Boolean. Boolean is the last data type I am going to discuss for you. then there are only two Boolean values. So these Boolean values we are saying logical values. So we can consider true or false, or else 1 or 0, or yes or no. Then these three values, these three kinds of categories we can take under Boolean. So the most important thing is the size of a field can be changed according to the data type and number of data input to that field. So you have to keep in your mind those kind of things. So now let's see the last topic, cardinality or multiplicity. So cardinality, it refers to the relationship between two tables in a database. So simply we can say the number of occurrences in a particular entity type, we can say its cardinality. So there are four types of cardinalities we have. So these are the four: one-to-one, one-to-many, and we can consider the opposite one, many-to-one, and the last one is many-to-many. So let's see some examples for this cardinality. So association among entity instances I have given within examples. The first one, cause. One cause, one-to-one relationship I am going to discuss with you all. Then course and the student, two entities I have. One course can have only one student. One student can do only one course. The next one is one-to-many. One course can have many students. Many students can do only one course. Then many-to-many. Students and course. Many students can do many courses. Then many courses can have many students. So this is about the cardinality, one-to-one, one-to-many, and many-to-many. So next one is, I'm going to take a real example. One-to-one cardinality, I'm going to take two entities like employee and company vehicle. Employee is allocated company vehicle. Employee is assigned to company vehicle. So one-to-one relationship we can see. The next one is one-to-many cardinality. Department and employee. One department work with many employees. So many employees can work in a one department. The next relationship is many-to-many cardinality. Department and employee. Many departments can have many employees. Many employees can work for many departments. So one important thing is there, you can illustrate the relationship using cross foot notation. So this is how you can represent one relationship, and this is how you can represent the many relationship. So one is illustrated with the vertical line, many is illustrated with three lines. Think of many as a cross foot. So this is the summary of this lesson. So I'm going to wind up this lesson. So I hope you will understand. You have understood everything, like what is a database. Database is defined as a collection of organized data, and DBMS is the database management system. Then database management system can create, modify, delete databases. And these are the keys we learn: primary key, candidate key, alternate key, composite key, and the foreign key. So we had features of databases: minimal data redundancy, accuracy, efficiency, like that. So I discussed with you all data redundancy and data encryption. So other than that, I discussed what is cardinality or multiplicity. So this is about the summary of this lesson. So I hope all you understood the theory properly, and refer the page numbers what I have given at the beginning of this lesson. So I'm going to wind up this lesson. Thank you very much for hearing me.